Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make the Apricity top. This time it's an updated version. So many people have been requesting for this updated version because the first version was more of an open back and the open side of the top was too wide at the back. And when I made this piece about 2 years back, it has been in my requests to update the Apricity crochet top. So here we are. I'm going to teach you how to make a more modest look, especially on the back side of the top, so that you can go ahead and wear your bra comfortably well when you're wearing this top. So if you like the written pattern of the updated piece, make sure you check the description box below. I'll be leaving a link behind, as well as a link to the original Apricity crochet top. And yeah, we are not going to forget about that because I think it's the backside that sold this design. So if you would like to try it out as well, we also have a tutorial as well as a pattern. So let's get started. All right, so in order to get this effect, I used 2 strands of 2 different colors in order to achieve this. So you can try it out. Alright guys, so we're going to start off with a slip knot. You're going to grab your 4mm crochet hook and you're going to make a slip knot. And then you're going to make a chain of 11. This doesn't discriminate. Regardless of what size that you're making for, you're going to go ahead and make a chain of 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So this is a top-down design. We start from the top of the shoulder moving downwards. And this is the front panel that's going to be worked in 2 panels that are later joined in order to form the full front panel. All right, so after your 11 chains, you're going to go into the second chain from the hook, which is this one, and you're going to place a half double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. I have 6 because I'm using a double strand, but you should have a total of 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all. That's a half double crochet in the US terms. So you're going to continue to half double crochet in each and every chain across. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all. And you're going to repeat this all the way across. And at the end of this row, you should be having a total of 10 half double crochets. Since the 11th chain was a turning chain. So you should end with a total of 10 half double crochets for row 1. This is what your work will look like. Now we're going on to row 2. You're going to make a chain of 1 and turn your work. And then you're going to place a half double crochet into the very first stitch. Remember, the chain of 1 doesn't count as a stitch. So you're going to go into the very first stitch and make a half double crochet. I hope you still remember how to do the half double crochet. Yarn over, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all. And continue to half double crochet in each and every stitch across. So at the end of row 2, you should also have the same exact number of rows for the same exact number of stitches as of row 1. Since I had a total of 10 half double crochets for row 1, I should end up with a total of 10 half double crochets for row 2. So let's just cross check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Make sure you don't miss that last stitch. Make sure you go into it with a half double crochet. Now we are going to repeat row 2 again and again, and I'll be recommending a number of rows to make for the different sizes. You just make a chain of 1 and turn your work and half double crochet once in each and every stitch. But our main goal here is to get from from the top of your shoulder where the front panel is going to start from, because these are more of straps, from the top of your shoulder until where your arm gets off your body, which is at the beginning of your armpit level. So from the top of the shoulder all the way to the armpit, where the armpit starts from. So that's the main goal. If you're making it for yourself and you can measure that part, that would be awesome. You're just going to repeat row 2 again and again until you get to that level. But I'll be recommending a number of rows to make for the different sizes, and we shall also be taking measurements just in case you have a different gauge, or you used a thinner yarn or a thicker yarn, or in case your tension is tight or loose as compared to mine. I'll be taking a measurement for you. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and make a total of 12 rows for the size that I'm making for, which is a size medium. Alright guys, here are my 12 rows, and when I measure this distance, it's a total of about 5 inches, but when I stretch, it's about 6 inches. So I'll be recommending a number of rows for the different sizes, basing on our sizing chart that we got at the beginning of the video. So after this, we are now going to start increasing on both sides, both on this side and on this side. So for the next row, I'll call this the second part of the front panel, because this is the first part. Now we may be at different levels at this point. You may not be at row 12, you may be at a different row, or for the larger sizes, you may have to add a few rows at this point in order to get to your armpit when stretched. Consider this measurement when stretched. And then now we are going to go on to the second section of the front panel, which is increasing on both sides of the piece. So you're going to make a chain of 1 and place 2 half double crochets into the very first stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in each of the next stitches until the second last stitch. So I'm placing a half double crochet in the second last stitch, and then I have 1 stitch left, and it will get 2 half double crochets. So that's because we are increasing both at the beginning and at the end of the row. So let's do that again. You're going to make a chain of 1 and turn your work. Place 2 half double crochets in the very first stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in each of the next stitches until the second last stitch. Alright, so I'm at the second last stitch, and into the last I'm going to place 2 half double crochets, because we are increasing both the beginning and at the end of the row. And now I'm going to repeat that for a total of 7 rows, and for the different sizes I'll be recommending a number of rows to make for this part. So for me, I'm going to increase for a total of 7 rows at the beginning and at the end of the row, just like we've been doing for the previous 2 rows. So 1 half double crochet until the second last stitch. Make sure you always go into the very last stitch. Make sure you don't miss it, which is this one. So at this point, every row is going to increase by 2 stitches if you want to keep track of stitches. But you can see how our top is starting to spread out. So let me go ahead and make my 7 rows of increasing at the beginning and at the end of the row. And then I'll meet you back when I have that finished. Alright guys, now I have my 7 rows of increasing both at the beginning and at the end of the row, and that measures about 3.5 inches when stretched, for those people who want to consider measurement. And then for the different sizes, I'll be recommending a number of rows to do for the 2 increases, both at the beginning and at the end of the row. And yeah, for me, this is for a size medium, and I've done a total of 7 rows of increasing, both at the beginning and at the end of the row. Now we're going to start doing something different. This is the 3rd section of the front panel. This time around, we are going to increase on only one side. And to do that, you're going to make a chain of 1 and turn your work. And you're going to start off with 2 double crochets in the very first stitch. So that means this side is going to be our increased side, and this side we are going to keep it plain and flat. So after your 2 double crochets, continue to place 1 half double crochet in each and every stitch across until the end of the row, since this time we are not increasing at the end of the row. So just continue to place 1 half double crochet in each and every stitch until the end of the row. Alright, so when you come to the end of the row, you're going to only place 1 half double crochet in there. And that marks the end of this row. At this point, I'm at row, let me see, 12 plus 7, which is 19. And then this is row 20, if you're following the same exact thing that I'm doing. So I'm at row 20 right now. And then the next row, you're going to make a chain of 1 and turn your work. And you're going to start with a double crochet, a half double crochet in the very first stitch. This is because on this side we are not increasing, we are increasing on this side. So this is row 2 of the 3rd section of the front panel. You start with a half double crochet in the first stitch and continue to half double crochet in each and every stitch until the second last stitch. Alright, so I'm placing a half double crochet in the second last stitch, and then into the very last one we're going to go in there with 2 half double crochets to create an increase on our increased side. So you can see the direction of the top is already changing. We are creating a flat edge on this side, but this side we're still increasing. So we are going to repeat row 1 and 2 of the 3rd section of the front panel until this measurement right here is 1/4 of your bust circumference when stretched. So for me, the bust circumference that I am considering for my piece is around 39 to 40 inches. So if I'm to consider 40 divided by 4, sorry, 40 divided by 4 is 10. So this should stretch to 10 inches. So I'm going to continue to work row 1 and 2 of the third section of the front panel, increasing on only one side. So this next row is going to resemble row 1 of the third section of the front panel, the one that starts with an increase in the first stitch and then 1 half double crochet in each and every stitch across until the end of the row, and not increasing at the end of the row. So you're going to keep doing these 2 rows, alternating between them until the base of your piece can stretch to 1/4 of your bust circumference when stretched. I'm emphasizing when stretched because we want a nicely fitted top. We don't want a sagging fitting. So make sure you take these measurements while stretching. Alright guys, so I ended up with a total of 6 rows for the third section of the front panel, the one whereby we were increasing on only one side of the panel. So if I'm to take my measuring tape and take a measurement here, you can see we can stretch this to about 10 inches, which is 1/4 of the bust circumference that I am considering. So make sure at this point you can stretch your work to 1/4 of your bust circumference. And now once you get done with this, you're going to chain 1 and cut your yarn, and repeat the same exact process for your second panel, and make sure you end on a side. You end your last row on this side that has the longer slant. Now once you get done with this, you're going to introduce your second panel, because now you have 2 panels that are identical. I'm through with my second panel here, and I'll just go into the very first stitch on this side and place a slip stitch. So I'll go into that half double crochet and yarn over, pull through, and then chain 1 and cut my yarn, and then pull through. So at that point we have joined the 2 pieces together. You can even go ahead and make use of the loose ends here, and you just tie a knot to secure your top even further. So you're going to cut off the loose ends, and this is what you're going to have. That's what you're going to have at the end of the 3 sections of the front panels. This is what you're going to have. Now, if I'm to take a measurement at the base of my piece, it should stretch to half of my intended bust circumference. So remember, the bust that I am considering is 39 to 40, so I'll take the 40. So right now I have 16 inches, but when I stretch, it should go to about 20 inches. You don't want to overstretch your work, because you don't want to wear something whereby you're almost busting out of it. You just give it a slight stretch, as if so that we can get a good fitting. Now we're going to go on to the next step, and that step is to elongate the front panel. At this point, you're going to attach your yarn in a way that you are working in the opposite direction of the previous row. Actually, you have opposite directions on both panels, so wherever you attach your yarn, just go ahead and attach into the very first stitch on this side, and you're going to make a chain of 1 and half double crochet in each and every stitch across. This time we are working across 2 panels, and we are joining the two front panels and also creating some good length for the top. So at this point we're done with the front V-neck shape, V-neck shaping of the top, creating the neckline, creating some sort of straps. And now we're going all the way down, creating some length for the top. So just place 1 half double crochet in each and every stitch across. All right, so when you come to the middle, make sure you place 1 half double crochet in the last stitch of this panel, and then go on to the next and also place 1 half double crochet on the first stitch of the second panel, and then continue to just place 1 half double crochet in each and every stitch all the way to the end of the row. All right, so we're coming to the end of the row, and I'm placing my last half double crochet in the last stitch of the previous row. And this is what you're going to have. You're going to start working back and forth without increasing or decreasing, just placing 1 half double crochet in each and every stitch. But don't forget, at the beginning of every row, you just make a chain of 1 and turn your work, and then place 1 half double crochet in each and every stitch. And keep doing that until you get the length of the top that you want for yourself. I'll be mentioning how many rows that I ended up doing for mine, and you can decide for yourself whether you want a cropped version or even a longer version. That's really up to you. So let me just go ahead and create some length for my top, and I'll be back to show you what to do next. Alright guys, I ended up doing a total of 13 rows right after joining the 2 panels together. I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13 rows all together after joining the 2 panels together, but this is going to vary depending on the top length that you want. Keeping in mind that this design also has an edging at the base, don't make it so long, especially if you want it to be matched with maybe a high-waisted crochet shirt or skirt. As you can see here, this is the matching pair of shorts for this top, and this is high-waisted. These are the diamond crochet granny stitch shorts that already have a tutorial as well as a written pattern. So I'll be leaving all the links for this design in the description box below. So basically, I don't want to make it so long, so that's why I went with the 13 rows after joining the 2 panels together. And if I'm to take a measurement, I promise to take measurements at different points of this project, so that in case you're to follow measurements, then this should be easier for you. So if I take a measurement here, I have about 5 inches, as you can see this, and when we stretch it, we have about 6 inches. So that's what we have for now. At this point, my front panel is done. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that you can see exactly what it looks like. This is what my front panel looks like. Now, once you get the length of your front panel that you want, right from your shoulder up to where you want your top to stop, you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. Pull through. Now you're going to put this aside, and now we're going to go onto our back panels. I'm going to just fold this and put it aside. Now for the back panels, you're going to start the same exact way that you started the front panels. We are also going to work 2 back panels, but this time we are not going to join them the same exact way that we did the front panels. So we're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to make a chain of 11, just like we did for the front panels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then you're going to go into the second chain from the hook with a half double crochet, just like we did for the front panels. and then continue to half double crochet in each and every chain until you have a total of 10 half double crochets all together. So this is row 1, and you're going to continue to repeat row 1 to 12, or whatever number of rows that you got at this point of your front panels, right from here all the way to here before you started increasing. So for me, I had a total of 12 rows, and I'm going to go ahead and make the same exact number of rows. If you have more than that, make sure you have the same exact number of rows that you have here onto your back panel. So this is our very first back panel. You're going to make a chain of 1 and turn and place 1 half double crochet in each and every stitch. So you should be having a total of 10 half double crochets for each and every row for your back panel for the first section of the back panel. So just like we had sections of the front panel, that this is the first section, and then this was the second section, and then the third section, which was here, and then the final section. So this one, we are also having a first section of the back panel, which is just plain half double crochets without increasing on the edges. So continue until you have the same exact number of rows that you had for the first section of the front panels. Mine is 12, so I'll be back when I have my 12 rows of half double crochet stitches. Alright guys, I have my 12 rows as you can see here, and now we're going to go ahead and make the same exact number of rows for increasing both ends on the back panel. So I have a total of 7 rows of increasing both at the beginning of the row and at the end of the row. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing for my 7 rows. If you had 5 rows, go ahead and do that. If you had 9 rows, go ahead and do that. So this is the second section of the back panel. So you make a chain of 1 and turn your work. Place 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in each of the next stitches until the second last stitch. Alright, so into the last stitch you place 2 half double crochets, 1 and 2. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this row until I have a total of 7 rows of increasing both at the beginning and at the end of the row, because that's the same exact thing that I have here. So whatever number of rows that you have here, just go ahead and do the same. Alright guys, we are through with the second section. Let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Yes, the second section of the back panel. This is what it should look like. Now the third section of the back panel, you're just going to continue to work plain rows of half double crochet stitches. So you just make a chain of 1 and place 1 half double crochet in each and every stitch across. So that's all. You're just going to start working back and forth, placing 1 stitch in each and every half double crochet from the previous row. And you can see the direction of the back panel has already started taking shape. It has already started being flat on the sides just by placing one row of no increase. So we're just going to go down and continue working plain rows of half double crochet stitches until we have the same number of rows that we have for the front panel. So let me go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have a total of 38 rows for my front panel. I'm going to make sure I have the same exact number of rows for my back panel. So a total of 38 rows, or whatever number of rows that you have for your front panel. If you have 32, make sure you do 32 rows total for your back panel. So you can see this. Now we're going to just go straight down without any increases until we have the same number of rows for the back panel as we have for the front panel. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So far I have 20 rows, and my aim is to have a total of 38 rows just like I have here. So go ahead and balance the number of rows, and then after that you'll make a chain of 1, cut your yarn, and repeat the same exact process for your second back panel. Remember, the back panel has to be 2 pieces. So this is the first back panel. You repeat the same exact process for your second back panel, and then I'll meet you back when I have mine ready. Alright guys, I am currently through with my 2 back panels, and I've zoomed out a bit so that you can see exactly what's happening. So remember, we left behind 2 very long tails, one on this back panel and one on this one. Make sure that the tails are towards the front panel. As you can see here, this one is on this side and this one is on this side. Now we're going to go ahead and get our darning needle and start attaching this side where the tail is, the tail of the back panel. We're going to start attaching this piece up to this corner, as you can see here. So we're going to start with one side, and then we shall do the second side as well. All right, so let's begin with this one. You're going to thread your loose end into your darning needle, and you're going to start attaching row to row. Remember, you should have the same exact number of rows. So attach the first row twice and then go into the next row. Just do what you have to do in order to attach this side of the back panel onto the front panel. So I'm just going row to row, and I'm making sure that the stitches are not very tight. I'm not using a very tight tension when joining, so that I don't distort the shape of my top. Alright, so this is the very last row of no increase, and I will attach it 2 times. So just like that, we are done with this side, and you're just going to go ahead and weave in this tail. So I'll consider this to be the back side of my work. I'm going to just weave in the tail. As you can see, just go in and out of a few stitches so that you can secure your yarn. And then you're going to get a pair of scissors and cut your yarn. This is what you should have. Now you're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing for your second back panel. Attach it onto the front panel the same exact way. Alright guys, we are now done joining the back panels onto the front panel, as you can see here. Now we are going to fold over our work like this, as you can see here, and then we are also going to join the top of our shoulder. This is going to create the shoulder seam. So get your darning needle and your yarn and join stitch to stitch. Alright guys, we are done attaching our front panel to the back panel and creating the shoulder seam, as you can see here. Now you're going to go ahead and get rid of these loose ends as well, so that we have clean edges before we go on to our next step. Alright guys, after getting rid of your loose ends, this is what you're going to have. The general shape of the top has been achieved at this point, and now we are going to go onto the bottom side of our top and create a mesh row as well as a scallop row, but you're going to make sure that you're on the wrong side of your work first. The mesh row is worked on the wrong side, and then the scallop row is worked on the right side of the top. So make sure your work is on the wrong side, and you're going to attach your yarn in the very first stitch, just like this. Now you're going to make a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet chain 1, skip the next stitch and double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch and double crochet into the next. This is going to create a mesh pattern at the base of your top. Repeat this: chain 1, skip 1 stitch, double crochet into the next, all the way across. Alright guys, so I've made it all the way across, and this is what I have. You can see the mesh row running from one side to the opposite side. So I have only 1 stitch left, and what I'll do right now, I'm going to just make a chain of 1 and go into that very last stitch with a double crochet. And now you're going to make a chain of 1 and turn your work onto the right side. This is the right side of my work. If I'm to zoom out, this is exactly what I have. So we're now going to start creating our mesh, our scallop row. So after a chain of 1, you're going to go into the very first chain 1 space with a single crochet, then make a chain of 3, place 3 more double crochets into the same exact box, and then single crochet once in each of the next 2 boxes. So 1 and then 1 in the next box, chain 3, 3 more double crochets into the same box, 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 boxes, 1 and 2, chain 3, 3 more double crochets into the same box, 1, 2 and 3, 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 boxes, 1 and 2. So this is going to create a scalloped edge at the base of our top. You're going to repeat this all the way across, and I'll meet you back at the end of the row. Alright guys, we've made it all the way across, creating our scalloped edge, and this is what it looks like. Very beautiful. So now we're going to go along the back opening of the top, creating scallops as well as the front. Alright guys, after your scallop row, you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, and you're going to attach your yarn on the opposite side. This is because I want my final row of the edging of the top to be on the wrong side, so that the spikes or the picot stitches can pop on the right side of the work. So just follow instructions, make sure you're working on the wrong side of your work. So I'm going to attach my yarn in this double crochet row. Then I'm going to place 2 single crochets into the double crochet row, and then make a chain of 4 and slip stitch at the base of the single crochet before the chain into those 2 loops facing you, and then 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 half double crochet rows, and then make a chain of 4 and slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, and repeat that. So you can see this, the spikes or the picot stitches don't pop on the same side where you're working, they pop on the opposite side, as you can see here. So that's why I opted to work on the wrong side of my work. Alright guys, we've made it all the way to the opposite side of the scallop row, and I've ended with 2 single crochets into the last double crochet row. Now I'm going to go into this single crochet of the scallop edge and make a slip stitch, and then make a chain of 1 and cut my yarn, pull through, and this is what you should have. You can see the picot stitch running all the way to the front of the work. Look at that. So this is supposed to be, yeah, the right side of the work is here. So the picot stitch is all the way around the V-neck shaping of the top and at the back of the top, as you can see here. So now we're going to go onto our sleeves. To start working on the sleeves, you're going to attach your yarn in any row around the sleeve. So I'll attach mine here into any half double crochet row, make a chain of 3, and into the same row place 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 more double crochet. So that's a shell, because the chain 3 at the beginning of the round counts as a double crochet. So we're going to go around the sleeve opening. So we've just placed a shell here. You're going to make a chain of 2 and go into the next row with a double crochet, chain 2, a shell into the next row, so 3 double crochets, sorry, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. For this pattern, a shell is 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. And then make a chain of 2 and 1 double crochet in the next half double crochet row. Chain 2, place a shell into the next row. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 more double crochets. Chain 2, 1 double crochet into the next row. So you're going to repeat that all the way around, and make sure you end your round with a double crochet into the last half double crochet row. So go all the way around, and I'll meet you back at this point. Alright guys, we've made it all the way around, and I mentioned that make sure you end with one double crochet into the last row of half double crochets before the end of the round, and I think I'm going to end at this point. And after your standalone double crochet, you're going to make a chain of 2 and slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 of the round. Just like that. Now we're going on to round 2, and this is the round that we are going to keep repeating until we get the thickness of the sleeves that we want. So slip stitch into the next double crochet, slip stitch into the chain 2 space, and then make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet. And then you're going to go into the same chain 2 space with 1 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. So that will count as a shell in the chain 2 space of the previous shell. Chain 2, double crochet in the standalone double crochet once, chain 2, place a shell into the chain 2 space of the next shell. And remember, a shell is 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Chain 2, 1 double crochet into the standalone double crochet, chain 2, a shell into the chain 2 space of the next shell. So you're going to repeat that all the way around until the end of round 2. And at the end of the round, you will just place a slip stitch on top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round, and you're going to keep repeating round 2 again and again until you have the thickness of the sleeve that you want. I'll let you know how many rows that I ended up doing for mine, but the repeat round is round 2. This round that we are making right now. Just keep repeating that round, and I'll meet you back when I have the thickness of the sleeve that I want. Alright guys, we ended up with a total of 5 rounds for the sleeve, and this is just enough for me. If I'm to take a measurement to give you the thickness of the sleeve, I have about 4 inches total for my sleeve. And you're going to make a chain of 1, cut your yarn, and you're going to repeat the same exact process for the second side. So repeat the instructions for the first sleeve onto the second side to make your second sleeve, and this is what your work is going to look like. Now you're going to go ahead and make a very long chain of about, I've made a total of 200 chains, and I'm going to lace it up at the back. So you're going to grab your crochet hook and you're going to locate that space which got the very first increase on this side, and you're going to start lacing up your top. Locate the same spot on this side as well. So basically in the corner where we had this slant and then the straight down, you're going to balance this string and you're going to start lacing it up every after about 3 rows, and then you lace up into the next space, just like that. So 1, 2, 3. Let me see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Every after 4 rows, I'm going to lace up my chain that I made. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll go into this space. Just do what you have to do as long as it looks neat and as long as you balance the spaces. 1, 2, 3. All right, you can see what I'm doing. So this is going to help us hold our top very well, and also for those people who want to wear a bra underneath this top, you should be able to do that, as opposed to our very first version of the Apricity top. 1, 2, 3. And another thing that I wanted to point out is when you wear this top, you're going to make sure you pull these strings tight enough for this space to even close up even further. If you want it very tight, it can even entirely close up like this, so that we don't see the bra straps or the bottom band of the bra. So once you do this, you can go all the way down to the chain 1 space of the double crochet row, and then you're going to go ahead and tie a knot, and then get your pair of scissors and cut off the excess yarn. Of your chain. And this is what we have, guys. Let's see the final look of our top. We already have images. This is a bit big for the dummy, so I will be demonstrating with other colors for the final look, but this is the same exact approach that I used for the other pieces as well. So the back side of this one won't flatter the dummy because this is a bit larger and it's a bit big for the dummy. So let me show you the final images of the ones that I did in the same exact approach in the size of the dummy. And this is a custom order, so I can't give it to someone or a model to wear it. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and in case it kind of brought more clarity when it comes to the sizing of the Apricity crochet top, make sure you leave a comment down below, and don't forget to check out the written pattern on all my online shops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.